Hello and welcome. This is Ageless John, and I am playing Everquest. This game is got quite a legacy to it. It is it's a really old game. It's been updated and changed and things of that nature, and you'll notice some of the graphics are a little old-fashioned. But I started playing Everquest the month it came out, so yeah, I have quite a history with this game. It's now changed hands, owned by Daybreaker. And so I'm going to play this. I haven't played in many years. Now, one of the things that you'll notice is I've already made a character, and the reason for that is when you get in the game, there are two things I discovered that are annoying right off the bat. You can't change the settings of this game the way you want to sometimes. Like, I like to play mine in 1080, and when you get into the game, that's not even one of the options that I was given. It may be because of my video card. And on top of that, you can't turn the music down, or at least I couldn't turn the music down. I just may be ignorant and didn't see the button for it. So I created the character, went into the settings, turned the music off, and then changed the viewing screen to the 1080 that I like. And then I came back here, and now I'm going to delete the character and create my own character. To confirm, you have to, this is how you delete a character. Alright, so now you'll notice that in the background we have some sort of Halloween atmosphere. This game does quite a few things with the different holidays. So it does have themes and missions and things of that nature. Again, it's been forever since I've played it, so I don't really have a clue what I'm doing. So to create a character. So let's create a character. And right off the bat you see all these, 16 different races you can use. I don't really think it makes a huge difference as to which kind of character you create. Used to be you were barred from certain cities based on your race. And also, if you notice over here, the 16 16 different classes you can be. Different races can only be certain classes. So now, a long time ago, the major importance of this game was the home city of the character. You could only do certain things in the home city, and that may still be true, but anymore they've kind of apparently conglomerated all that into an initial starting zone where everybody starts in sort of the same starting zone, and they've conglomerated the cities into some major starting cities, and a lot of people hang out in one of two places, I believe, or probably just one place, Plane of Knowledge. In that area, it's a big crossroads, and a lot of people will probably end up hanging out there. And then I think a place called, I can't even remember. We'll see here eventually. One of the initial starting zones is got a lot of quests and adventures and things like that, and it's really easy to get around in. So a lot of people will be in that area rather than their actual starting cities. And some of the starting cities have actually changed even. I've never even been to the Draken starting city. I don't even know about that. I think the Froglocks took over the Troll city, and I don't know where the Trolls are anymore. Yeah, I've been here. So I've been to all the cities except I don't even know where the Draken come from. So that's an issue. All right, so then you have to decide what class you want to be. Bards are pretty cool. They are jack of all trades, like they say. They do have kind of a type of spell, a singing spell, and they do have the ability to chain their spells together so that you can have multiple effects on top of each other. I think with the right equipment and stuff like that, abilities, you can have 4 going at the same time. But they're a fun class to play. I've played Bards a long time ago. But they are more of a icing on top of the cake class. Beast Lord, which you can't play with that group. Let's go to Trolls. They have little beast pets. They can slow monsters down so they don't hit as often, which is good, but not as good as some of the other classes. and because they have their little beast companion, they do a lot of damage, and they also do some healing things of that nature. So they're considered to be a pretty good solo class. Berserkers are two-handed and they don't wear heavy armor. I've never played a berserker. They do a lot of damage, but they can't stand up as much to damage apparently as some other classes. Let's see, human. There we go. Clerics, of course, they wear plate and they do healing. That's their main deal. Druids, I think they wear leather, and they have a lot of spells, healing, a lot of a mix of spells. They're a pretty good mix basic class. They also are one of the classes that has something called a harm shield. So that if something hits you, they hurt themselves, which is very popular among much lower level characters because if they get a harm shield from a higher level druid, they can go attack small animals. And if they hit the small animal and the small animal hit them 3 times and then die. So yeah, that's popular. Used to be druids were really, really awesome because they could transport from point A to point B using teleport spells. But that major effect has been taken away. Enchanters are cool. They are important to any party that wants to break up groups of monsters. Because enchanters will go out and they'll zap a monster, stun it, or make it go to sleep, basically. And then that mob will stand there while the other mob gets killed. So you can kill monsters one at a time. Or you can zap a whole bunch of monsters and run away if you've got too many at certain kinds. So enchanters are kind of a specialty class. They also allow other magic users to have a much more a pool of magic abilities. So enchanters are much beloved. Magician, another pet class. They do a lot of damage. Not as much as the wizards, which are one of the high damage classes. Cloth, again, they have different things they summon that are like cool toys that do different things. So people really like magicians. Good soloable class. Not as easy as some of the other soloable classes, but pretty good. Monk, I've never really played a monk. Monks always seem really difficult for me to play. They have a lot of interesting abilities, including one called Feign Death, which they can pull a whole bunch of monsters, feign death. The monsters will see them dead, and most of them will walk away and then get up, and that's kind of how they used to be famous for being able to pull one monster at a time like that, which is a big deal in this game. Necromancers, one of the best solo classes, possibly, depending on who you talk to, the best. They're a pet class. They do a lot of damage over time spells. So I used to really, really like my Necromancer, but nobody wants them in their party, really. That was kind of a disadvantage because they don't really bring anything to a party other than damage. And yeah, so... And their pets are really not that useful in a group. They're fun, but they can cause a lot of problems. Paladins, pretty good tank. They can take a lot of damage. They heal. They have the ability to stun creatures, so they can get the aggro of the primary monsters. They also have a small ability to break up groups, so those are cool. Rangers are famous for dying. They do a lot of damage, and the high-level Rangers have this special ability with their bows, where they can kill certain things with one shot to the head. So Rangers, a lot of people really like their Rangers, but it's a kind of a specialty class that people who love them. People who don't like them don't care. Rogue, probably one of the most damaging classes in the game. They can use poison. They have really cool weapons, and they can sneak and hide past almost everything in the game. So for high damage and things of that nature, rogues are awesome, and people like them in a group because that's where they really excel, because the main person in the group gets the monster's attention, the rogue gets behind them and just pummels the snot out of them with a couple attacks, and then they die. Shadow Knight, kind of an evil paladin. They are able to call up tiny little skeleton warriors to aid them. Not very useful, more of a toy than anything else. Do fairly good amount of damage and are capable of being very good tanks when played correctly. Let's go look at it. Shaman is an interesting class. They do a lot of statistical buffing, so they make people better at what they do no matter what class they are. They are also one of those people that can slow monsters, so they attack slower. The classes that do that are the Shaman, the Enchanter probably have the same ability to slow, and then Beast Lord will also be able to slow. And these others, Bard has some slow. I think the Necromancer definitely can slow, but only undead. So Shaman's really cool. People really like Shamans. They really excel in a group, and they can fairly easy to solo. They have a pet eventually, and they can buff the Holy Living Snot out of their pet, and they become actually pretty good at helping with damage. So yeah, Shamans, I've played Shamans before. They are pretty fun. I like them. Warrior, of course, Warrior is what you think it is. They fight, they take damage, and that's what they do. Simple. They get more complex as time gets along. If you're in a guild or in a group, Warriors are important because they're the ones, usually, if it's not a Shaman, a Dark Knight, or a Paladin, who are getting aggro on the monster. So they're also extremely equipment reliant, because without good equipment they can't take the damage. Now the spellcasters also equipment reliant, but not so much as some of these as the tank classes, because they have spells that can make up for it. Warriors really don't have that. And then wizard, I've never played a wizard. They do a lot of damage and they can teleport, but I've played a wizard a little bit, but they always die horribly quickly. They have very few hit points. They have cloth armor, and they do a lot of damage, and so they quickly get aggro on the monsters, and so then they die, and nobody can save them. So I'm not a big, huge wizard fan, just because I've always been scared to play them. All right, so that is your introduction to the classes. And you've got the different races: Draken, Froglock, Wood Elf, Vashir, the Trolls, the Ogres, Ixar, Humans, High Elf, Halfling, Half Elf, Gnome, Erudite, Dwarf, Dark Elf, Barbarian. And it used to be that these different classes had different experience gaining aspects to them. Like if you wanted to level really fast, and it would also be sort of associated with the classes, you would be a halfling. I believe it was a halfling warrior, or halfling warrior was the fastest leveling class in the game. I mean, it just ripped through the levels like 25 to 30% faster than any of the others, and 50% faster than the ones that were held back, like the Dark Elves. Were super cool, but they had a handicap in the experience gaining levels. I think that's all been taken away, so I think that's been leveled out. So anyway, that is the introduction to Everquest and all the different classes and races. And next, I'm going to make a class and start playing.